Welcome to the Sabrosa Podcast, your underground hub. Welcome to another episode of the Sabrosa Podcast. Today's episode is very special. We got HD in the building.
Greetings, everyone.
Y'all already know, from Brooklyn, New York.
Yes, indeed.
Let's go. Let's get it. Yes, and we're gonna get into some shit today because you already know, man. This is where you come to get your little underground news and get your little, your little music on and tap in. And let's just get right into the shits. So, HD, how are you doing today?
Fantastic. Cold.
It's cold today. Yeah, it's February.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of
February. Yeah.
But it's not that bad. At least we passed the snow already.
I know, and it was a shock. I thought we were gonna get a lot more snow, but it was nice. It's like, okay.
Yeah. How was it getting here today?
It's actually pretty. It's pretty decent. I never really been to Hoboken, so going to Hoboken was like I was looking around trying to figure out, okay, how do we get to the main strip, and then that's where we got to.
Really?
Yeah, it was a little confusing, but we got it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you guys were familiar with it. I'm
Nope.
sorry. I figured like you guys knew. If I
Fresco's
would have, I would have given some
yeah.
direction.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. Thank
Well,
you
we
so
here
much.
now, so we got here.
Yes.
That's all that matters.
Okay, so you're here now, and I just want to get into it. So you have so many hats that I want to start from as early as I can. I did my due diligence about who you are, your background. I do know that you were in the Marines.
Correct.
And then you also do real estate.
Absolutely.
You moved to Lancaster, Pennsylvania at a point. So that's what we were gonna get into. So I definitely want to start off with like your journey. So you're from Brooklyn, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So how, like, what was the first time that you were like, okay, like at what age or what was your first memory remembering like I want to do music or this is something that I want to pursue, or even writing like your first song?
It's interesting. I've always, since I was born, I felt like I wanted to do music. It was just always in me.
Yeah.
My household growing up in Clinton Hill specifically was raised predominantly for women. And in that household, they all had their own taste of music. And so I was constantly surrounded by different sounds. Each floor had like different types of music.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I was just raised upon that. And so it was more like naturally for me to just want to like, create rhythms, create sounds, be poetic and just how I was in my daily function. So I think the aspect of hip hop and rap and stuff like that, just wanting to make songs happen because of my experiences outside of the household and the people that I knew, and my family members are all poets as well. So it was just something that, was just natural for me to just pick up. It wasn't more like I wanted to be an artist. And it was just like you're birthed by this household that's with music, and the people around you are music and poets and things like that.
Yeah.
So I had to just run with it.
Yeah, you're like it was.
I couldn't avoid it. I couldn't ignore what was natural.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes in life we do have a calling. Like not everybody goes through that. I guess. Hopefully, I wish everyone went through it, but I feel like sometimes there's some things inside that you just know.
Absolutely, and even my dad, he was a poet himself, and so I would see him, leaning over on the bed, looking at a notebook, and he'd be mumbling things, and I'd be looking at him like, oh, it looks interesting. What is that?
Yeah.
So it was destined. It was already predestined for me.
No, because your lyricism, which we're gonna get into, and like just your wordplay and like the way that you put metaphors and things together, it's just very interesting, and it's very intricate. And like you're not just spitting anything. Yeah. You're really thinking about what you're writing down. So I know, because I definitely want to get into like your pen and like just like your inspiration. So that knowing now that you were a poet first, like it makes sense, or you come from that background, because the way that you write, I can tell, like, and the art of writing, right? Yeah. Because I feel like that's also a lost art in a way. Like there's a lot of collaboration now and things like that. So you write all your music, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. So that's important, right?
Absolutely.
How do you feel like that's so that impacts an artist, them writing all of their lyrics versus working collaboratively?
I think the collaborative method is great because you get to, experience the mindset of another artist, and that also helps you influence, your creativity as well.
Because at the end of the day, like, music is feeling. So, correct. And like, I got that from one of your interviews, actually.
Yeah.
And you said that, and that was something that resonated with me, because that's why I do what I do too.
Absolutely.
And I just feel like music has put everyone in a space. Like, you can go back to a moment in time.
Absolutely.
Based on a song. So, a little bit about your history. So you went to the Marines.
Yeah, I know.
So you were in the Marines.
Yeah.
And you were pursuing music, like you were writing music and
actively. Yeah, actively writing music.
How was that?
You know, it's a challenge, right? Because you have two different worlds constantly pulling at each other, and then you have to be in the right space, you know, mentally as well. Right. Because one minute you're doing this, you're saying this, and the other you're doing this, you're saying this, and so they collide after a while, and so you have to know how to separate, you know, yourself, the two sides of your head, the headspace that you have, and just, you know, be comfortable with doing both as well. So lucky for me, I had support. Shout out to TK, one of my business partners, actually. And, you know, everywhere we went in DC, he would be right there, because we were like close to DC. Basically, Quantico, DC is like next to each other, like 45-minute drive, 30 minutes.
That's like, isn't that like by the White House?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, we would go to DC very frequently, and, you know, shout out to Shot with Ant, that's my videographer as well. And we would all go, and they would encourage me to continue the music process in addition to being in the military, because again, it's demanding. The military, you know, you have to be there at a certain time. You can't do certain things. You're restricted. So it was just more like we had to have, you know, be in the right time to do what it is that we wanted to do. And we had that. We're like, you know, during the day, I'd be, you know, doing one thing, and then at night we go to the studio, go to DC, shoot videos.
That's
and that
what
was
I
a
mean.
day.
Like,
it was tough.
Hats.
It was like
two lives.
But two lives, exactly. But when you have the support system and you have people around you that are pushing you and encouraging you and doing what they can, so you do have time to do to be involved with your passion as much as you can. So I'm lucky enough to have had that, you know, and that's why I was able to do it.
Support's important.
The support, because otherwise I wouldn't have been doing it. I'd have been like, all right, I'm just gonna do one thing and that's it.
Yeah. So you would say like you had a good, like an overall good work-life balance at the time.
Yeah.
So that's important.
Yeah, but eventually they clash, and then you got to figure out, okay, which one is most important.
Right.
You know,
because I feel like that's true. Like, you have to outweigh the options sometimes, like the pros and the cons.
Exactly.
Because
so
we try to do a lot sometimes. Right? Would you say that they were like you? I mean, at that point, you're serving in the Marine, which is hard, because a fun fact about me, I wanted to be a Marine when I was 17, and the only reason why they didn't allow me to become a Marine was because I had a tattoo behind my ear.
Wow.
If I didn't have that tattoo, I would have become a Marine.
Wow.
So that's crazy. So that's something that I wanted to do. So that's why when I found that out, I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool. Like, I wanted to do that too.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I probably would have been wearing a bunch of hats too. So that, just like the pressure, like knowing, because I went and I was supposed to take my ASVAB and stuff. Just like going through that process, like getting physically fit and all that. It's like
a long process.
It's a lot, and it's like mentally draining. So then to also be pursuing an independent career is crazy.
It's tough, and you like I said, you got to have the right support system. And I got a lot of pushback too, also sometimes, right? Like, I would say, hey, I'm gonna go do this, but it's like, no, you can't go do that because you got to do this. This is what you're here for,
right?
And so after a while, you know, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna completely separate, you know, that headspace. I don't want to even think about the music right now, because it's not allowing me to be efficient at what I am supposed to be doing.
Right. You're like, I'm not working 100%.
Like, so
no, I totally get it, because it's like,
so
it's like it's like a battle.
Even now, like, that's what I'm saying. It's two worlds constantly pulling at each other. So you have to have the right support system, you know, because you get, you know, some days you lose a little motivation here and there. You know, it happens. We're human. But again, just having the right people in your corner.
Yeah, that's good. Well, I'm happy that you had that support system, even though it clashed at some point. But I'm happy that you were able to at least get some stuff.
And that's why I left.
Exactly, and we probably wouldn't be here right now. You probably would have been like guarding something
I was like, I got to
somewhere.
make that decision. Like, which one is it going to be? They pulling. Okay, eventually you got to say, okay, enough is enough. Let's just go do this. Because
we have a journey in life, like we have to like live in our truth. Like eventually we have to know like this is who we are. You met a real estate you had a mentor that was a real estate wealthy
developer. So
real estate developer, and then
yeah,
you were able to build equity to fund your own career.
Yeah, so that's what it is now. So interesting enough, my former management, he knew somebody who knew someone, and I was introduced to this kid. Shout out to Morgan, DJ Elmo. He's a great guy, and we were like hanging out a lot after we got introduced to each other, and he was like, hey, I'll introduce you to my dad one day. And so that day happened, and after that dinner, I was able to get the contact of his dad, and we were communicating on a daily basis, and that's really how it happened. And I was running into these walls of, okay, I want to do music, but you got to have the capital to do it, right?
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Yes.
You got to invest in yourself. That's important, right? And so he was like, if that continues to happen and you don't have the capital, just come work in real estate and you can get the capital and then you can fund your career. And that's ultimately how I made the decision for me to say, okay, I'm going to do it. Now, again, I'm that same predicament, whereas two worlds constantly pulling at each other. So it's not something that I'm not used to.
Yeah.
And I'm glad because it allows me to maneuver, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's the blessing, but that's more or less how it happened. So yes, this guy is a big real estate developer, international developer. And so he took me under his wing, and, I'm selling all the high-end properties throughout the city. And,
there's a lot to know.
I'm like Clark Kent.
Literally, it's like a movie.
I got the cape on one day, and the next thing I'm in office.
I want them to know all these guys that you have, because it's like crazy.
Yeah, it's insane.
I have conversations with people, but you're like very interesting.
Trust me.
I'm like, what?
Yeah, one day I'm like, doing a contract, and then the next day I'm in the studio making a record. So we were talking about this today, and great people do great things, and they're flexible, right? The things that you're doing, you're built for. You wouldn't be doing it if you're not built for it. So I'm glad that my whole past was what it was,
right?
Because it allowed me to be who I am today and be flexible enough to have one hat on and have the next hat on in 2 moments. It's pretty interesting. So, and again, the support system, my team, we speak to each other every single day. And that was something that when we started our company, it was like, make sure we constantly reach out to each other. We constantly call each other and discuss things outside of what we're doing on a professional level, because everybody needs uplift every day. And just making sure that everybody's in a good headspace to continue to grow, because there's barriers, there's challenges all the time. I'm I'm here, and then it's like, oh, okay, and then I'm actively doing things. It's not like music is a hobby.
No, it's life.
It's like my life, and so real estate is also like the thing. And to know that you can be successful at both is another thing that it's like, okay, eventually you got to choose.
Right.
So I'm grateful.
Yeah.
I'm grateful to have that
you're
this
able
challenge.
to still do something that you love, because you learn to love it, right? Real estate, that's something a skill that you acquired.
Correct.
So,
yeah.
And it's something that I feel like if you didn't like it, you wouldn't be doing it.
Exactly.
Right.
I would have quit a long time ago.
Probably got good at it.
Yeah, exactly. And you get good at it, and you you become successful at it, and it's like, oh, okay, this can work.
Yeah, and real estate, I mean, in the East Coast, like where we're at, it's like the best.
Yeah, and it's constantly growing.
It's constantly growing.
I think the greatest thing about it too is it taught me, or it's teaching me how to be very business savvy when it comes to negotiating, when it comes to looking at contracts, when it comes to dealing with, people, banks, understanding how real estate works, understanding how capital works, all these things, finance, et cetera. So, and being in rooms with different people who do different things throughout the city and other countries and everything like that, and seeing how you purchase buildings, and it's just a whole different world. And for me, it's very interesting because it's not so many of me's out there.
Right.
And the world that I'm
saying,
in.
Like you're doing music and you're doing like you're just wearing so many hats that I don't see. They're probably just doing real estate.
Exactly, and it's not many of me. So shout out to Francis, my mentor, and we were at a black tie. He was receiving an award, and I remember sitting there and I was looking around the room, and I was the only black man in the room that wasn't serving.
Right.
And I'm sitting there with the billionaire. And I'm like, wow.
Like something has to change.
And that's what really, that moment is what reminds me of, okay, as long as I'm in this, I got to really make something out of it, because to be in a position is spectacular, and it don't come every day. And that's what I would tell other, artists, other individuals that's like thinking that rap or sports is the only thing. Like there's so many other things that we can do, and we need to get in these rooms because there's not many of us. And you never hear about these things.
Like they're not reporting
like,
that.
Not reporting this.
That's like an article worthy.
The things that are.
It's like they're not.
The things that are most impactful, and they're not reporting.
I feel like they're just tearing. They just like to tear it down instead of like build it up.
Right.
And it's just like, why?
Correct.
Why is the media always attacking the black man? It's not cool.
But the information is out there, and you see a lot of people really getting involved now. Like, okay, How do you do this? And I'm going to share this knowledge.
Yeah.
Because if we would have known, right, exactly. Because if we would have known then how to do it, a lot of things that you see happening in New York when it happened, we would have had it already. We would have been buying things if we knew
the information. But that's the thing, that we're so accessible to the information. Right. I actually saw a weird interview. It was like a conspiracy theory thing, but it was like this guy that was like from the future that they like interviewed, and he said that we're in the information. He said something interesting though. That's true. He said we're in the information era, and in the future we're considered the idiot era because we had access to everything and we just didn't use it. We didn't take advantage of all the access we had to learn anything and become anything. That they called it the idiot era.
Correct. Yeah,
I really would believe that. Like now, and they said by 20, I think it was 84.
Yeah,
this guy was from 2084.
Yeah,
and he time traveled back, and that's what he said. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, well, the information is out there.
The information's out there.
However, there's so much information out there. You have to be careful.
That's what I'm saying.
What's the truth? That's the flip side. That's the catch. It's like, because everything that you see and read is not correct.
It's not true, but people think it's true because it's written down on somewhere.
And it puts you in a whole, you could be on your phone looking at something totally different, and I could be looking at, and we could be in two different worlds, literally. Like, it's incredible.
And that's how social media is, though. That's what the tool is, good or bad.
Fresco just said today, we were talking, don't go around your mother to get the information. Go directly to your mom if you want to know what your mom been through.
No, for real. You got to act straight up sometimes.
Yeah.
I've thought about interviewing my mom on a podcast too, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if that's too intrusive. But then I'm like, I want to know.
Yeah. That's an example. Go to the source, right?
Yeah, just ask. Yeah. We got to ask them sometimes straight up.
Yeah.
So another thing, let's just get right into another thing that I saw. How did it feel to go viral?
I've
never met anyone that went viral.
It's pretty interesting, actually. So TK, shout out to Troy again. He was tagging Shade Room and Ghetto Sunday. Ghetto Sunday happened to be, or is right now, one of my biggest records. And they sent me a DM right after he tagged them, and then they were like, "Hey, can we post this video?" Now, at the time, the song had already had about 1 million plus views already on my page. We were, actively promoting the song. It was just everywhere. And so, they sent me a DM to say, "Hey, can we post this song?" I didn't know what the outcome was going to be. I didn't know, what the reputation was for the Shade Room. I had no idea. All I know is they posted it, and just, it was like a light switch, and everything just boom. Right. And it was great because it was a time where people the internet on a massive scale was able to hear something authentic and original and different.
I looked up the post.
Even the song title is called Ghetto Sunday.
Yeah.
And so obviously the followers came, the comments, and it was like, wow, this gem has the exposure. Now everybody can see the gem. And it was a ripple effect, everybody's reaching out to me, Timbaland, posted it, and so forth and so on, and other blogs started to grab it, and then the interviews started to come, and then the labels and what have yous and things like that. So It was actually cool. I didn't freak out. I was just like, oh, okay.
You're like,
I was like,
okay.
great. Like, this is going to be good. And let's, ride the wave as much as we can. Because with viral moments, it's, as you know, it could be viral for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And then next thing you know, flatline.
Right.
Now, this song is very strong and it represents the masses. So it's still doing what it's supposed to be doing.
No, Ghetto
touching
Sunday
hearts.
is very I mean, I'm from Jersey, but New York too. And like, I grew up like Harlem, but then one of my aunts lived in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So I'm very familiar with Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So it's very Brooklyn.
Yeah, very
and
Brooklyn.
like when I saw it, I was like, this is hard. Like, this is dope. I liked it. I like the energy. Like, you were outside. I think you have Tim's on,
Tim's
right?
on, Yankee jersey
like the
on.
energy, like it's straight. I did read the comments and I did see like people are not really like they're listening to the music, but they're just thinking Jay-Z, and it's like, why? Like, how do you feel about that?
It's interesting because I've never felt any way about it. It's like it's people's opinion.
Yeah.
It was interesting in the beginning because it was like, I'm so inspired by Jay and the things that he's done in the business and music for the culture of hip hop. So it was like, man, people are making me like almost be like, should I even be like listen to you listen to him like again? Because I don't know, like this is like my idol. Like
it does resemble at first, but then when you listen more, not at all.
Right, and but that's not for me to argue. I can't, I gotta let people decide, and they do. Eventually, they're like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Yeah, okay."
Yeah. No, there was over. I counted. There was over 20 comments that said he's more Jay-Z than Jay-Z. Shout out to Jay-Z, love you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like when you get me, like I was like, wow.
Right. So it was
dope.
Right, and that was the thing too.
Right.
Being compared to, one of the greatest of all time, and where I'm from. Also, you got to understand, I'm from Brooklyn. Clint Hill. I grew up right around the corner from Biggie Smalls, right? I'm on Cambridge, Biggie, and, St. James. So I was right in the center, then obviously Marcy.
Yeah.
So I'm literally like planted in the center of one of the greatest of all time, So that was the blessing there. And even also when I performed at the Barclays Center, Jay was there. So that was a like the universe speaking to me, because I've always wanted to perform in front of that many people, but I never thought I'd be performing in front of someone I'm super inspired by. And we couldn't plan it. Nobody planned that. It was just the universe saying, "Hey, we're gonna allow this to happen." And he watched me perform live at the Barclays Center in front of 30,000 plus people.
That's like one of the greats.
It was incredible. I don't really care about what people are saying. You gotta say nothing. Timbaland is calling me. Me and Timbaland speak. He's like, this is it. This is it. Lenny S spoke to Lenny S.
Wow.
So it was like we keep going.
Yeah. Like
Jazzo reached me. Everybody was reaching. Everybody knows. Like Teddy Riley. It's like it's all love.
Exactly.
So it's a blessing, actually.
Yeah, but I feel like it's interesting how you went through like a potential record deal, right? Like you had a record deal or something of some sort, but then now you're you have your own company, your own entertainment, like you're your own entity. You're independent.
Reservoir.
Right. RCS. And I just feel like that is like very inspiring, because you can go you went. So how if you can give like any advice to any artists that like they want to go the independent route or the deal route, like what would you tell them?
Look, do what works best for you.
Right?
This is that simple.
And how did you feel like that impacted you as like an artist?
I think it was an eye opener, right? I was was so strung on like I want to get a record deal. Most of us are like, we want to.
Usually the goal.
But it's like, what do you want with that record deal? Like, what are the terms?
Right.
What are the things that you're going to be comfortable with the deal? And this deal particularly was pretty decent, actually. It was a distribution deal. We had most of the control. However, it was the people around me at the time when that deal got offered is the thing that made me say, not right now. So it was never about getting a deal. I get offers all the time. But it's the people around was around me at the time. And not saying that they're bad people, but I just think the intentions and the decisions of even myself, other people, it just wasn't coexisting. So for me, it was like, I don't really need to, I could, I'm going to take my time with this. I'm not in no rush.
Right.
And that's why I took a step back. And I said, I want to do this the right way. Let me start my own brand. And I think that's advice that I would give to an artist. Start have a brand, have an entity, have a good solid team, have a structure, have a foundation, understand the business and everything like that before you start to maneuver.
Right.
But that's why, I took my step back, even though I had the deal, offered on the table, and that went viral.
Right.
it's like,
You're like everything I do.
It's like everything I do is like,
and that must have been
crazy.
a big decision for you too.
Yeah, it was.
Right.
I mean, it was a pivotal moment.
Right.
But again, it was like, okay, not right now. That's just, you don't want to do that. It's not the right. And it was so tempting because it was like, you know what? Let me just hold my tongue and just sign anyway and not say nothing, not do this, not be my own it didn't feel right. It felt like if I was going to go through the whole process, I would not be able to look myself in the mirror and be like happy.
Right.
More or less.
Yeah, it was more like something that you wanted to do within for yourself.
Right. And I was in no rush. I was like, I'm going to take a step back, even though, and I had to, because that was the thing that,
That is like a big character. Because I noticed you're not that active on social media.
No.
You've gone viral and you're super humble.
Yeah.
Like, people just like lived for clout. Like, and you got everything and like, you're just so humble about it. And I really respect that. And I think not a lot of people are like that.
But, yeah.
And that's really cool.
But see, when you don't chase the spotlight, it comes to you. Natural. It's gonna if you are original and you're authentic. Yeah, you are. It's gonna come to you no matter what. So it's like, I never really get on Instagram to like do things for virality. I don't like. It's just everything that I do is with authenticity and it's with my own intent. Like, this is gonna go up on social media.
This is like right into it. Since we're right there, talking about doing things with your own intent and everything. Face to Face.
Yeah.
The new project dropped in January of top of this year.
Yeah.
The lyricism on that is insane. It's you have tracks on there that's like hardcore rap. I believe like the first 3-4 tracks. Then you go into like lady songs. Like you're like, I'm in the house like, yo, what's up? This for like I'm chilling right now.
Yeah.
It was a journey and it wasn't an album. If it's okay, I'm just gonna give my feedback. Like the way that I felt listening to it. I listened to it multiple times, and it was like different. It had different sounds, and it had like, if you're a lady, you can listen to it. If you're a dude that likes hardcore rap, you could listen to it too. Yeah. And it was relatable, and you were talking about a lot of the things that you were talking about, or like battles that you face within yourself, and it goes perfectly with the name.
Absolutely.
So I do want you to let us like talk to us a little bit about like how did you come about this idea for your project?
Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't want to have 17 songs. Number one,
17
I was
tracks,
like maybe 8. Me and my team was discussing like, don't give them too much. Let's just drop singles. And I was like, no, but I took a step back. I took a hiatus, 2 years. Let me like put something like a body of work out. And literally, I just got the bug one day. I was just like in one of the apartments that I sell. And I just like was looking at the ceiling and I was like, let me text this guy, my engineer. And I said, I'm coming to the studio. I'm going to the studio. I'm going to lay this record down. It's called Face to Face. The song is called The First. Yeah.
Yes.
So I recorded the song, and the song embodies everything, from the beginning until the end, from the relationships that, didn't last, my decisions, the deal, the people, everything,
it has everything
all the
in there.
details, everything, my family, people that I've met, other producers, deals that didn't go correct, everything, leaks of songs that happened, every single thing. And that was a conversation that I was having with myself while I was writing that song. And so that's why I was like face to face. I'm looking in the mirror, like at myself, and I'm telling myself, okay, this is you're reflecting. It's a reflection, and that's basically what it was. And all we literally, we recorded that song And then we sat there and we were looking at all the other songs that we had and was like, okay, we didn't get to release these, so let's just boop,
just add it. Just add it to the album. Why not?
That's it. We already we have so much material. That's other advice that I would give to artists. Constantly record, make music. Just keep making music.
Yeah.
You don't want to play catch up. So when it's time to make an EP or an album, you're like, I gotta go in the studio, make 6 songs. I gotta, just already have the material. Just get it out the way. Go to the studio, record 6 songs at a time, 5 to 6 if you can. Just so you have the material sitting there. So when it comes time to make a project, all you gotta do is say, okay, this is gonna be number 2. It's gonna be. That's literally all we did.
No, and that's great.
All we
you
did.
already had it.
Already had the
but
material.
You did do a freestyle in the intro. It was a freestyle,
it was
right?
a freestyle, which was already pre-recorded. That was already something done.
Okay.
Exactly. The intro. And that was a freestyle. I didn't write that one. That was a freestyle.
See, I've been knowing.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. You got me there.
I'm like, wait,
you got me.
You got a freestyle.
Yeah. That was a great freestyle. Yeah.
It was great.
It was expression of how I was feeling. I was out in Southampton at the time, and that just put me back in that place. And I was it just felt good to say that and just to introduce myself.
Right.
And then on Face to Face, I introduced myself like there's only one H. So the album, it was a journey on getting the album done. My team and I, we had meetings every week, every weekend, discussing the project, the cover art, how we were going to structure the songs, the mastering of the songs, the engineering of the songs. Shout out to Nosh. He mastered the whole project. He did a phenomenal job. Mixing and putting the songs together and, making tweaks. And, it was a really beautiful process to see it all get put together as one. It's my first album, so it's a beautiful thing.
So, how was it creating an album versus, just putting out a single or did you feel, how long did it take you to put this together? I know it was 2 years since you but seriously, putting it together, was it months or was it the whole 2 years?
It was 3 months.
Yeah, that's actually fast.
It was 3 months.
But that's fast.
It's fast. It is, again, I have to
was pretty quick.
It was pretty quick, and I have to give credit to my entire team because everyone sacrificed their time, from their families and getting on those meetings and coming up with creative ideas to put it all together and to keep in mind that we had a specific date to get it ready.
Right.
So there was a lot of sacrifices into getting all those things together, all the music together. Obviously with the producers, getting songs cleared, that stuff, registering songs, just the whole process of it.
Teams are very important. There's a saying, you are as good as your team, and that's true.
Exactly.
And the team has to, like you said it,
right.
You have to check in with them outside of work.
Absolutely.
Because they're humans.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're still humans and they still have life going on.
Absolutely.
And it's always, especially as a leader, us as leaders, because I feel like when I have my tribe too, and I just feel like sometimes, we forget that we have to humanize ourselves down and be check in with people and be are you okay?
Right.
And because they just look to you for guidance all the time, that you're okay, let me not be a robot for a second.
Right.
Let me, not be and really humanize yourself down. And sometimes pride or ego, it gets in the way and people don't want to apologize or say when they're wrong, but it's important, and I think that's a good trait to have.
I wholeheartedly agree, and I think that is what helped us get through to create this project or to get it complete.
Right.
Having the talks with the team, talks outside of just the music, conversations that got us back into re-engage.
Right.
Because it happens where you get disengaged, you're doing this, you're doing that, but to get everybody collectively to do one thing, and to be focused for one cause. But what I always tell my team, this is not just my music. This music represents your representation of this music. This is your music. If it gets put out, you're the engineer. Look, you got to make sure you're the photographer. Hey, you're the manager. Hey, you're the creative director. Hey, it's all going to be a reflection of us all.
Yeah.
It's not just me by myself in this thing. And that's something that I always stress, because it's not just me. It's a whole engine running.
Yeah.
I'm just a mouthpiece.
No, it's a group effort.
It's a group effort.
Not just
100%.
And you know, sometimes people, they just see an artist and they just be like, okay, that person, you, but they didn't like, it's like so many things behind it.
Absolutely.
And sometimes artists are not seen as people.
Yeah.
You're seen as like an object, or you know, so that's why I like to have these conversations, because it's important to know like that you guys are human, and that you come from backgrounds, you have parents, and some of you have kids, and you know, it's like important to know like everybody has a past.
Absolutely.
I really liked your song Checkup. I think that was super hard. Like, I really, really liked it. It was super dope. Yeah. I love that song. I mean, I like the whole album, but the Checkup was specifically...
Video coming out, too.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you going to have any visuals coming up for
Absolutely, yeah. So face-to-face.
Because I'm waiting.
It's going to be incredible.
I'm subscribed. I'm waiting.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible.
I got the notification.
Beautiful. I like that.
So I shall get the notification, okay?
Yeah. First, we're gonna drop this podcast, you know, of course. We're gonna get this visual out. That's gonna be the first visual. I'm just waiting for the video. Yeah. And then we're gonna, you know, face to face. Check up. She gonna drug for the night. Yeah. You know, angles.
No, I have everything, and your song and your title selection.
Yeah.
I liked it. Like you have Julan.
Julan is so shout out to them. Julan is an Asian cuisine restaurant.
I was gonna ask
in
what
Chelsea.
Is that?
It's amazing. You have to go. I've worked with them in the past, and the why I titled that and did that the hook with that song the way I did was because you have a lot of artists that attend Julan. You go on their page now on Instagram, almost every artist goes to Julan, and NBA players and athletes, football, etc. You know, but no one ever thought to make a song dedicated to this restaurant or do anything dedicated specifically for the restaurant. And I did it for branding purposes also, because I'm promoting you, promote me, and we, you know, collaborate on this thing. And I knew that, or know that the people that attend this restaurant will hear the song. And also, Julan may put more effort and more oomph into the song, because they know that if they promote this song, it drives more traffic to the restaurant. And that's what I was thinking. More, like I said, a collaborative effort in the brand with them. And so it turned out terrific. Yeah. Smart. And then I did the Cabernet and lobster, like a popular thing. Cabernet, everybody.
Yeah. You know, I see that now in the underground. Maybe you were one of the first people to do that. Because I see that. I'm starting to see that more in the underground. I'm like, why is everybody doing dinners now? What is that? Where they got it from? Yeah. Probably got it from you. I like that. Invite me, please. I'm a big foodie.
So, yeah. Julan Cabernet on my lobster. Yeah.
That is dope. Anything with food and events and music, count me in. Send me the invite. Send me the ticket.
You hear that, Julan? Sabrosa Podcast. Make sure
please.
You got a table reserved.
Please, I will make sure people go there and drop a bag, okay?
Exactly.
I'm like, I'm not rich, but I know
As
some people that are.
When we do the video, we're going to be there. Matter of fact, we should do like a podcast in the video after eating the lobster and having the wine.
Listen, if you need the podcaster for the video,
me,
volunteer right now. Volunteer hours right here.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm like, let's go.
Everybody collaborate.
I'm so excited. I mean, I'm excited to see like what you have coming. Do you want to like let us know? Do you have like any shows that you have? Because the biggest impact, what I do want to say and what I do like about you is that you believe exactly how I believe in the power of music in person. Yes. The impact that something can, it's not what you say, it's how you make people feel.
Absolutely.
And the impact that a music can have when you see it live it's like indescribable. You know, we all know what it felt like to see our first like show or hear the speakers.
Absolutely.
So with knowing all of that about you, I know you got some shows. So are you planning like some shows going around?
We got something
cities?
Pretty creative, actually.
Not too much. You could tell, not too much. But you know what you could disclose. To people.
I don't mind it, because we do it is gonna be great, and I hope that this could be a blueprint for other artists. But what we're gonna do is a street tour.
Wow.
Right? And so we're going to, be performing in hotspot locations throughout the city.
That is
live. We'll have, the album there, like the album cover there, so you can scan it goes to the album, things like that. We'll have some merch with us potentially. And we're also doing it in different stores, performing live in different brands. So collaborating with brands, etc.
Also sell some vinyls.
Yeah, exactly.
That'll
so
be
that's
cool.
what we're gonna do. We're gonna do our own city street tour.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
You know, and then we'll go to other cities and do the same thing.
Yeah,
you know,
I think that's
so. I'm gonna be doing pop-ups basically around
that
the
is
city.
amazing. That
So
is great.
and it's everybody is gonna get their cameras out. We're gonna, you know, because it's just they see you live, they see you rapping. It's like, okay, let's get our cameras. You know, so it's the most max exposure you can get. You know, and you know, there's no pressure of making sales or anything like that. It's just literally, here's my music, and I'm giving it to you live and direct.
Yeah,
around
and
the city.
That's perfect because people love instant gratification, right?
Exactly.
So if they could just scan a QR code and get it right away, and then also see it, then they know what they're buying.
Yeah.
And then they're like automatically tapped in with you.
Absolutely.
It's a win-win.
Absolutely. So
and it's actually probably cost effective.
It's cost effective. Now, hopefully, you know, I would love if these spots that I choose end up being a blueprint for other artists to come up and be like, oh, I'm gonna do spring.
I'm gonna send you a
know.
spot that I know in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
That I actually used to go there for my shows, and I don't know, check it out. You never know. The guy's pretty cool.
Exactly. So that's something that we're gonna do. We got a performance happening with Hype Magazine on the 7th, this Saturday actually. So I'll definitely send you those details and everything like that. So I'm gonna be headlining. I got some other opportunities happening in the Netherlands, out of the country.
Yeah.
Some festivals, what have you. So it's some, you
This
know,
is
pretty
so exciting.
great things.
I'm so excited.
You know,
for you.
happening. You know, it's just, you know, now gotta like two worlds.
Right.
But
Yeah,
beautiful
2 worlds.
things happening.
But 2 great worlds.
2 great worlds.
You're gonna be great, and
Yeah.
I already know you're gonna be like,
Yeah.
"Boom," I'm gonna see you like, I don't know, everywhere.
It's greatness.
I'm gonna be like,
Yeah.
look,
Yeah.
look at HD doing his thing.
Artist, real estate mogul, I don't know, all the above, you know. But
Yes.
somebody told me the other day, it was really special, you know, what they told me, said, no matter what you do, it's a happy ending on both. It's like, so you don't have to make a decision
Right.
right now. You don't ever have to make a decision. Just be great at both. The universe will tell you.
Yep.
You
and
know.
I feel like we know also like the universe starts doing things to us
Yeah.
that pushes us to the next level.
Absolutely.
Because that's happened to me several times.
Absolutely. And it may be doing 3 things. You know, like this is gonna help you grow and be the greatest version of yourself. And that's also advice that I would give.
Right. What advice would you give to your younger self, if there is any?
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Like the younger HD.
To my younger self. Oh, you know, it's interesting. I wouldn't have no advice to give.
Really?
Yeah.
You would want him to
do
everything again?
Just do it. Just, yeah. Because I'm not God. I can't predict. I can't.
Yeah.
So it's just what was happening and what's going to happen for you is going to happen for you.
Yeah.
You know, it's nothing that I could have told like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't go get that car. Don't go date that girl. Don't go to that studio. Like, you know, it was already predestined for me to do those things. And that's why I'm here today. So I couldn't. Yeah.
I think that's an honest answer, though. I respect that.
If I had an answer, I would have had one. But I would. It's just
because
natural. It's like,
yeah, that means that you ended up exactly where you were supposed to be.
Exactly. And I think that's just life. You know,
Yeah.
you could prepare, but sometimes it's just gonna happen the way it's supposed to. You know, because sometimes you prepare and then everything goes left. Like
Right.
You're like, oh, it's gonna be a beautiful day outside, and you know, you're looking at the sun shining, and the next thing you know, it's like it's pouring down rain, and you're like,
what happened? Like, it was just nice
yeah,
out.
I had this plan, I had this thing,
Yeah,
we're gonna go here, gonna go here.
We still gotta go.
We still gotta go.
That's how I am.
Exactly. You
We're
know, so yeah. If I would look at my younger self, do it.
Just
Make
do
that
it.
mistake.
Don't
do
be
that.
so scared.
Don't be so scared.
Like,
Take that risk.
Fear, right?
It's what
Fear
it is.
gets in between a lot of great things
Yeah.
sometimes.
But
and we
fear
have
keep
to
you on your
know-
toes.
Right.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. Keep you on your toes. It keep you aware. It gives you a sense of space,
Yeah.
you know, awareness, help you survive. But then you can be a victim of your own fear too at the same time. Like,
Right.
if you don't use it wisely.
Right. And then you
To
can
your
also,
advantage.
and also like you can become like a victimized mentality.
Yeah.
And then that's very like not productive at all.
Right. Exactly.
So it's
yeah.
a double-edged sword. I feel like we learn every day,
Right.
especially like being a creative. You said that you're a writer. Do you have
Yeah.
any other hobbies like besides like writing and real estate? Like, do you, I don't know, draw or ride a motorcycle?
No, I just, either I read a book, I
Go
write.
hiking?
I like hiking.
Me too.
I do. I like hiking
Isn't
a lot.
the air very nice?
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah, I go up to the mountains. I like the beach. I like to go on walks. I'm a very peaceful person.
Yeah.
I'm like,
do you have kids?
Simple. No kids.
No kids?
Not yet.
Wow, me neither. Shout out to us.
No kids.
We are rare.
Okay. I think that's... I would have told my younger self that. Just no kids.
No kids?
Yeah. Even though I have any, I would have... Yeah.
All right, lady. Wait, are you single?
No.
Okay, so no, he's not on the market.
Somebody's going to be watching this. I can't.
Okay. Well, shout out to you, girl. Well, I'm just asking. It's my job.
Yeah.
But all right, so that's good. So I just feel like you're just in a space where you're still developing yourself, and you have a great project out, and you have a great rollout going out, and I'm excited to see the people that are going to connect with this project. And I did notice one thing. I do have another question for you about it. I did notice that you only had one feature on it, right? Like one Allegra Bloom. Why was that?
Interesting, right? So Nash, he was like, well, I have this record that I made years and years ago, but I have this woman who would sound amazing on there.
Right.
And I said, okay. And I recorded the song, and then she went in the studio right after me, and she laid down her vocals. And when I heard it, I was like, holy shit. Wow. Her voice just sounds so angelic. It sounds like majestic. It just makes it really whole. And I was like, just leave it. It took the song to the next level. The sounds he has in there, the birds, the wind, like the nature,
like angelic.
Happening. Yeah, it's just all these elements. It's just beautiful, and that's actually my favorite song.
Yeah,
because that
make things better.
Yeah, because that that household that I grew up in, I was being evicted from, and that song takes me back to that space where I walked in the dining room and everybody has like this sad face and tears everywhere, and I'm like, okay. So that song takes me back in that space, but it takes me back to that space where my mom was so like resilient and so brave to have the audacity to like take me and my sister and be okay with going from place to place until she found her own place and getting through school and being a single mom and then buying her own home. So like that song just really is like,
it's like a journey.
It's a journey. Exactly.
Like this whole entire project is just a journey of your life, and it's like very I mean, I know we've talked about it, but it's just very interesting to me how like you can just like write that, like you literally wrote your
every
story,
song,
and then you like you're performing, like it's like it's hard for us as humans to look at ourselves and really like wholeheartedly like give it to ourselves, you know? And that's what you did. Like you really talked about like your triumphs, your struggles, your losses, like your wins, and like it's not easy to do that,
right?
And not a lot of people are honest in their music,
right? And
I think that's very important that you were.
Even if I wanted to fake it, I couldn't,
right?
Like it's just impossible for me to not tell the truth, because this is my whole life. Like this is the real. This is no fluke. There's no fake. I really saw that. I really did that. I'm really doing this. I'm around that.
And
I have this.
That's why I said you need a movie.
Like, even, so when I see artists that's like not being authentic and not being truthful, it makes me scratch my head. But what works for you works for you. I have no, I'm not against that. If you could sell talking about this, then,
more power to them.
I'd rather be true to myself, because I got to look in the mirror and every day.
Yeah. And a lie, you have to remember the truth you don't.
Right. And, to get you further.
Exactly. And I just feel like you just be yourself, because it's easier to just be yourself to get through than this to be somebody you're not. And that's why I was like attracted to, like, I was just like, oh, the music is dope. Like the energy was dope. Then when I did you were like on like your freestyles and your interviews, just like your energy was very humble and very like just how you are right now. So I'm like, wow, like he's done so many great things in life and he's still very humble and like cool. And I think that's like very important, how you're still a great person despite like all the achievements that you have. You don't think that you're better.
Because
I think that's cool.
Everything is big.
Yeah.
Everything you do in your life is meaningful, and it's going to take you to the next level. Like everything, and you have to treat everything with the utmost appreciation and value everything, you know, because we're on a planet, we're in life where you know, we get this to have this thing. So everything within it is very precious. This interview, this podcast, you know, the thing that I did earlier today, you know, all these things are very meaningful. They're memories, they're moments you can't get back.
Yeah, it's true. We can't get the time back. That's one thing we can't get
you
back.
know, and that's the most valuable thing. It's one of the most valuable things is time, is things that you can't touch.
Yep.
You know.
We can't. Like,
sound, music, love, you know.
And things
like,
that we appreciate because
we're
not going to be here forever.
Exactly. So that's why, you know, I'm so humble, and, you know, now in some songs I could.
No, you were talking, and that's another thing I want to say. You got a little raunchy in there, okay? You were talking that shit.
She gonna,
you were talking about your relationships and like, you know, I feel like we can relate, whether you're a man and I'm a woman.
Yeah.
Like, we've all been in a situation where somebody has done us wrong.
Correct.
So, did they listen to it and tell you that they know it's about them?
Oh, we've gotten.
How's that feeling?
How
does that feel? Like when they text you, like, I know you wrote that song about me. Like, yo, you better take it down.
They want to talk. They want to have a conversation. That's all.
They want to have a conversation. They
miss you. That's it. It's all love at the end of the day, because it's all true. It's not.
But I feel like that also helps creatively. Like, okay, writing from a space, like a sad space, or writing from a happy place. Like, what do you think makes the best music?
I mean, I feel like they both can make both great music. You know, to give you different emotions, you know, like if She Gonna is more like upbeat, and then make things better. They both give me good feeling. I'm happy with both. The space that I was in to make both was more or less is the truth. So as long as I can get the truth out and be honest with myself, it gives me I have the satisfaction. The satisfaction is equal. Now they give you two different effects. You know, one keeps you like up here, and then the other is like, you know. But it's the art that you created, so you're satisfied. It's like I left it out there. You could take, you know, from
and that was
however
just your
you
mental
want.
state at the time.
It's my
like,
mental
that's your
state.
mental
I can't create that moment again. Right. You know what I mean? But it's interesting. You know, the writing the whole project, it was very seamless for me. Like, you know, when I write music, I listen to the pattern of the beats. I listen to the emotion, the energy of the records first, and whatever I'm being told, that's what I say. And I try to coexist with my lifestyle, the memories that I have, the experiences that I've had, other people's experiences, and I try to match it. So that's basically it. Yeah.
Your story, like your storytelling, is amazing, and I know it's gonna reach the world. Yeah. And I want people to feel like impacted by it. I think it's important, and like these conversations are important. I want everybody to tap in. Make sure you download, stream, buy. Do you have it on Bandcamp too? Like, can people purchase it?
Bandcamp. That's interesting. I haven't even tapped into that. Yeah.
Tap in.
Bandcamp.
We'll tap in after.
Somebody told me about that too.
You guys. Yeah. So do Bandcamp, because that one is an independent, I believe. I mean, I don't like put music out, but I mean, for my friends. Yeah, they do. And then you get like all the money. Like, let's say you put like $20, like you put it for like $20. It's $20. Right. It's no like fees and stuff. Right. It's like straight. It's made by artists for artists.
Beautiful. Okay.
You check it out.
But it's on, iTunes and Apple Music,
so everywhere.
and Spotify.
So make sure you guys download everything, and make sure you guys subscribe to his YouTube. Okay. And is there anything that you want to let the people know before we go? You definitely have a lot more coming from HD. Definitely great things, major things. And it's going to be a surprise. Every time I do something, it's going to be more of a surprise than anything, because, in this day and age of social media, you can almost get bored because you're constantly seeing the same person every single day. And you're seeing this, like, it's different content you're seeing every day. Like, you want to keep your off factor. So
we got a lot of great things coming up this month. Other platforms that I'm going to be on, other stations, etc. So it's going to be the rollout. We're executing the rollout that we have for the project. So stay tuned. You can follow me on Instagram at _everythinghd, Twitter the same, Facebook the same, YouTube also the same. Again, that's _everythinghd. Yeah.
Guys, please tap in.
Face to face.
Make sure you follow him immediately. Go face to face. Make sure you pop out. If you see him performing at a local spot, make sure you show love. Get your camera. Make sure you pull up, scan that QR code.
Yeah.
Cop some merch, show love. Even if you post a picture and tag him, make sure you and be like, Sabrosa Podcast, I found it. Please, just let me know. Let us know.
We're going to do all the things.
Thank you so much for coming today. This conversation was amazing.
Absolutely. It's beautiful.
I wish you had more time.
I know. You. See? Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you. Your energy is amazing.
Likewise.
Thank you for bringing Fresco.
Yeah. Shout out to Fresco in the building.
Shout out to Bugs in the building behind the camera with the audio. You know he does everything. You feel me?
Yo, and these are Michael Jackson mics too.
Listen, we're gonna get that Michael Jackson money.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of ones. Can't have this. After this podcast, it's not, after H, that's it.
That's
the bar
it.
is set high.
We blessed it. All right, guys, you already know. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of the Sabrosa Podcast. I appreciate you guys. I wouldn't be here without the support of you guys. And make sure, like I said, you follow HD. And thank you so much for coming on the show.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you.
Love is love.
All right, guys. Peace. We out.